If you're an Aquarius, listen carefully, because this is not about how strong you are. This is about what your strength is quietly costing you. You've probably been told your entire life that your independence is your greatest asset, that you're different, that you don't cling, that you don't need reassurance, that you don't fall apart like other people do, and you've learned to be proud of that. But here's the part no one tells you. The greatest limitation of Aquarius is not the world. It's not bad luck. It's not other people. It's the fact that you do not allow yourself to depend, not emotionally, not financially, not romantically, and that single pattern shapes everything. Let's get uncomfortable right away. If you're an Aquarius, the reason people slowly stop getting close to you is not because you're cold. It's because, over time, you make everyone feel replaceable. You don't do it on purpose. You don't push people away. You simply never pull them in. And that difference matters more than you think. Most people believe dependence equals weakness. Aquarius believes dependence equals loss of control. That belief didn't come from nowhere. It formed early, quietly. Maybe you noticed that when you relied on someone, they disappointed you. Maybe you realized that when you needed too much, you became vulnerable. Maybe you learned that needing someone gave them power over your emotional state. So you adapted. You told yourself, I'll rely on me. And at first, that decision saved you. You learned emotional self-control. You learned how to detach before pain could take over. You learned how to stay functional, no matter what happened. And people noticed. They saw you as strong, stable, grounded. But here's where the problem starts. What saves you early in life can limit you later. Aquarius feels deeply, much deeper than most people realize. But you don't express emotion the way others do. You don't externalize it. You internalize it. You don't say, I'm hurting. You say, I understand why this happened. You don't ask for comfort. You analyze the situation until the pain feels manageable. And you tell yourself you're fine. Most of the time, you are. But here's the first cost. When you never depend emotionally, you also never let anyone truly support you. People don't see you break. They don't see you unravel. They don't see you need. So they assume you don't. And over time, they stop offering. Not because they don't care, but because you've taught them that you don't require it. This is where the distance begins. Not dramatic distance. Not conflict. Subtle distance. People feel close to you, but not essential. They feel connected, but not irreplaceable. They feel welcome, but not needed. And humans need to feel needed. This is something Aquarius often underestimates. People bond through usefulness, through being relied upon, through knowing their presence. Actually changes someone's inner world. When that never happens, connection stays shallow. Now let's talk about something most Aquarius won't admit out loud. You don't just avoid emotional dependence. You avoid financial dependence too. Money, to you, is not about luxury. It's about freedom. Money means no one can trap you. No one can pressure you. No one can dictate your choices. You don't want to owe anyone. You don't want to ask. You don't want your stability tied to someone else's mood or approval. So you carry your own weight, even when it's heavy, even when help is available, even when someone genuinely wants to support you. You say, I've got it, and you mean it. But here's the second cost. When you never accept help, you never experience ease. You exhaust yourself unnecessarily. You take on pressure that was meant to be shared. You prove your independence, even when no one is questioning it. And slowly, life becomes heavier than it needs to be. But the most dangerous place this pattern shows up is in love. Aquarius loves with the mind first. Conversation, ideas, vision. You don't fall easily, but when you do, it's real. You respect freedom. You give space. You don't control. You don't cling. And your partner often feels safe with you until they notice something. They notice you don't lean. You don't need reassurance. You don't unravel. You don't depend. You love them, but you are prepared to survive without them, even while you're together. And that preparedness creates distance. Not obvious distance. Quiet distance. The kind people feel, but can't explain. They start to sense that no matter how close they get, there's a version of you they will never touch. And here's the truth most Aquarius avoid. People don't leave because you're too independent. They leave because they never feel chosen. They never feel like their presence actually changes you. They never feel essential. And that hurts. Because humans don't just want love. They want significance. They want to know their absence would be felt. When that never happens, they emotionally step back. And Aquarius often doesn't notice until it's too late. Here's where things get serious. If you're an Aquarius, This pattern doesn't explode your life. It slowly empties it. You reach a point where things look fine on the surface. You're capable. You're functional. You're independent. But relationships feel thin. Connections feel temporary. People drift. And you don't understand why. You did everything right. You stayed strong. You stayed self-sufficient. So why does it feel like no one stays? Because independence, when taken too far, creates emotional distance. And emotional distance kills long-term connection. This is the ceiling. The invisible ceiling Aquarius keeps hitting. And most Aquarius never see it. Because from the inside, it still feels like strength. But here's the line that changes everything. The moment you stop needing anyone, you also stop being needed. And connection cannot survive that. In the next part, we're going to talk about the future cost of this pattern. Not in theory, not psychologically, but in real life. What happens to Aquarius, who never learns to allow dependence? Why many of them wake up later, with freedom, but no one truly close. And what it takes to break this pattern without losing yourself. If you felt uncomfortable listening to this, don't turn it off, because the next part is where this really lands. So let's talk about the future. Not the abstract future, not the philosophical one, the real one, the kind you wake up inside, without realizing when it happened. For many Aquarius, the consequences of refusing dependence don't show up early. They show up later, quietly. You don't notice it in your 20s. You're busy building, learning, escaping limitations. Independence feels empowering. You don't need approval. You don't need permission. You don't need anyone to move forward. And that works for a long time. But then something subtle happens. You enter a stage of life where connection matters more than momentum, where depth matters more than speed, where people aren't just passing through anymore. They're choosing where to stay. And this is where the pattern starts to cost you. You notice people don't anchor themselves to you. They like you. They respect you. They admire you. But they don't build their life around you. They don't plan long-term with you. They don't intertwine deeply. And it's confusing, because you never pushed them away. You never mistreated them. You never failed them. You were stable, reliable, reasonable. So why didn't they stay? Because at some point, people stop asking, is this person good for me? And start asking, do I matter to this person? And with Aquarius, that answer is often unclear. Not because you don't care, but because you don't show need. You don't show reliance. You don't show emotional investment. That risks imbalance. And humans read that as distance, as emotional neutrality, as being optional. This is the part Aquarius rarely wants to hear. People don't bond through admiration. They bond through impact, through knowing their presence actually affects you, through knowing their absence would leave a mark. When that doesn't happen, people subconsciously detach. They stop choosing you deeply. Now let's talk about aging, because this pattern compounds over time. An Aquarius who never allows dependence often reaches midlife with complete autonomy. You've designed your life well. You don't owe anyone. You don't answer to anyone. You don't feel trapped. But there's a cost. Your emotional world is self-contained. Your struggles are private. Your victories are quiet. And there are very few people who truly know you, not because you hid, but because you never let them in far enough. This is where loneliness doesn't feel sharp. It feels dull. Background noise. A sense that something is missing, but nothing is wrong. And that's dangerous, because when pain is loud, you address it. When emptiness is quiet, you normalize it. Aquarius is very good at normalizing emotional distance. You tell yourself, I prefer my space. I don't need much. I'm just built differently. And maybe that's true. But here's the question you avoid. Are you choosing independence? Or are you avoiding vulnerability? Because there's a difference. Independence is the ability to stand alone. Avoidance is the refusal to lean, even when leaning would deepen your life. Aquarius often confuses the two. Now here's the turning point. Because this is where many people expect a soft ending, a comforting message. But that would be dishonest. If you're an Aquarius, and you never learn to allow dependence, here's what usually happens. You become the person everyone trusts, but no one truly reaches. You become the strong one, but rarely the chosen one. You become respected, but emotionally peripheral. And that's not because you're unlovable. It's because you don't create emotional gravity. People orbit you. They don't land. And here's the part that hurts the most. You don't even realize it's happening, because no one confronts you. They just drift, quietly, gradually, until one day, you look around and realize most of your connections are replaceable. transactional, situational, and you wonder how that happened. This is the moment. Aquarius either evolves or hardens. Some double down. They say, people are unreliable anyway. They retreat further into self-sufficiency. They build a life that requires no one. And on the outside, it looks successful. But on the inside, it's empty. Others do something harder. They question the belief. That dependence equals danger. They realize something crucial. You don't lose yourself by needing someone. You lose connection by never letting yourself be needed. This is the reframe. Dependence does not mean collapse. It does not mean weakness. It means trust. Chosen trust. Selective trust. The willingness to say, this matters enough to risk imbalance. That's not failure. That's courage. And that's where Aquarius transforms. Not by becoming clingy. Not by becoming emotional. But by becoming available. Available to be affected. Available to be changed by someone's presence. Available to admit, I don't want to do this alone. That sentence terrifies Aquarius. Because it feels like surrender. But it isn't. It's expansion. Here's what changes when Aquarius allows dependence. Relationships deepen. People lean in. Connections stabilize. You stop feeling like people drift for no reason. Because now, they feel anchored. They feel chosen. They feel like their presence matters. You don't lose freedom. You gain intimacy. You don't lose autonomy. You gain connection. And you don't stop being strong. You just stop carrying everything alone. This doesn't happen overnight. It starts small. Letting someone see you struggle. Without fixing it immediately. Letting someone help. Without justifying it. Letting someone matter. Without planning your escape route. These moments feel uncomfortable. They challenge your identity. But they also unlock something you've been missing. Depth. This is the level most Aquarius never reach. Not because they can't, but because they're afraid. It will cost them control. But here's the final truth. Control is not the same as safety. And safety is not the same as fulfillment. A life built only on independence is stable, but it's not intimate. And humans don't thrive on stability alone. They thrive on connection. If you're an Aquarius, and this made you uncomfortable, that's a good sign. It means you're seeing the edge of your next evolution, not away from who you are, but deeper into who you could be. Take a moment. If this resonated, like the video, share it with someone who hides behind independence, and subscribe if you want more content like this. Content that doesn't flatter, but actually tells the truth. Because real growth doesn't come from being praised. It comes from being seen. And Aquarius, you were never meant to carry everything alone.